Vanakkam and welcome back to the channel Home of Programming. In today's session, we will be learning about another two animation properties of CSS, which is animation direction and animation duration. So, animation direction properties allows you to determine whether the animation should be played in forward direction or backward direction or in an alternate direction. That is, if you want to play an animation in alternate direction, the animation will play forward direction first, after that it goes backwards, right? So that is about alternate direction of animation direction properties. So let us learn this animation direction property with help of an example. So for that, create a new HTML file. So in that, inside body we can have multiple divs. So in each div we can have any set of images, right? So this is our first div. Here we are going to create an image. So in this case, image is also available in the same folder where our HTML file is. So that I am giving just the name of the image itself. So if you are having image in any other path other than your HTML file path, you have to provide the entire path of the image so that your image will be visible in the browser, right? So similarly, we can create another two divs with some other images. So now we have created three divs and we can name these three divs. Let us name it as image 1, image 2 and image 3. So now we are done with the HTML part. Now what we are going to do is we are going to provide CSS styling for these three set of divs, and in that CSS we are going to define a property called animation direction, right? So for that, inside head tag we can define the tag style. So here what we can do is we can use the name of our class, that is div. We have created three set of divs. For each div we have used the class attribute in order to provide an unique name for each divs, right? So for the first div we are having the name as img1, so that I am using it as img1. So we can provide unique identifier to any set of HTML element with the help of class attribute or ID attribute. So if you are using class attribute, you should use dot operator inside style tag to access that particular HTML element. Alternatively, if you are using ID attribute for any set of HTML element, you have to use hash operator for accessing that particular element, right? So in this case, I have used class attribute, so I am using dot operator for accessing this particular div element. So here what I am going to do is I am going to use some position attribute to set the value of position. So here I am setting the position value as relative for all the three set of divs. So you can provide any values to position attributes such as absolute, initial, inherit, and set like that. So only thing to remember is this animation duration property works when the value of position attribute is relative or absolute or static, right? So for any other values of position attribute, your animation direction property will not work, right? So now I am going to define the animation. For that we can use the animation property. So provide any animation name here. After that, the amount of duration your animation should run, right? So after that, what you have to do is, how many times your animation has to be repeated, right? So if you want to play the animation just for only once, you can provide it as 1, or if you want to run the animation for twice, you can give it as 2. Or now I am going to run the animation continuously, so that I am giving it as infinite. Now we are going to define animation direction, right? So here what we have to do is, we can provide 3 set of options like alternate, right? So this alternate value for your animation direction will keep on forwarding and backwarding the particular animation, right? So similarly, we can have animation and animation direction properties for another 2 DIVs, right? So here we can change the name as drag first and drag second. So here we have created animation, right? But we have to define these animations drag first and drag second to get executed. So to define an animation, we have to use keyframes followed by name of the animation, right? So here we have given the name as drag. So inside it we are having 2 set of options. One is, either we can define starting and ending value for the animation like from and to. So inside this you can provide any set of formatting options like background color, margin left, padding. Like this you can give any set of formatting option. Alternatively, if you want to provide multiple set of animation for single HTML element, you can give it as percentage like 0, 25, 50, 75, 100, like that you can provide. So it is not mandatory to give 0, 25, 50, 75, 100. You can, if you want to provide only 3 set of animation, you can simply have 0, 20, 0, 50 and 100 itself also, right? So it is up to you, right? Here what I am going to do is, I am going to change the left and top margins of an HTML element. So initially let the left and top margin be 0. We can gradually increase the left and top margin for multiple animations. So now we can save our program and we can run it. So here we have set animation for the first div element in which we have provided a image like this, right? So we can copy this animation for another 2 set of divs. We have to change the name, right? So we can have these set of animation, right? So if you want to have any set of animation for another div, you can do that, right? So here we have applied animation for all the 3 set of element. Each element is moving in backward and forward direction, as we have given the animation direction property as alternate, right? So this is a way of using animation direction property. Similarly, we can use animation duration property to define how long should the animation run. So for that we can use the property animation duration, and we can provide the number of seconds. So in this way you can use animation duration and animation direction property. So animation direction property helps you to determine the flow of direction of that particular animation, whereas animation duration helps you to define the maximum amount of duration an animation can run, right? So in this way you can use these CSS properties, and using these animation CSS property we can also create interesting games also, right? So there are few more properties of animation and CSS. After completing that animation properties, we can create a simple HTML and CSS game, right? Until then, stay tuned with Home of Programming for getting more updates regarding programming, and subscribe to our channel for getting instant updates. Thank you.